After a loss like that, where do you start? Where do you finish? How do you even discuss this game? I'm Glenn Naughton, JetNation Radio, JetNation.com. Thanks for checking us out. Be sure to log on to JetNation.com and check out and join the most active Jets message board on the web. Give us a like and a follow and all that stuff on YouTube. So, what a mess. What an absolute disaster. The Jets get their teeth kicked in 54-13. Zach Wilson injured. Of course, this is the story of the day now. Zach Wilson took what looked like a dirty hit outside the pocket. I must say, though, Robert Saleh said after the game, by rule, not a dirty hit because he's outside the pocket. I think we as fans we've become so accustomed to seeing flags get thrown when a D lineman's thumbnail grazes a quarterback's helmet that it's shocking to see a quarterback get hit low, grab the guy's legs, wrap him up, twist him underneath him, and no flag thrown. But then that was myself and many others on Twitter thought that should have been a flag, but obviously an overreaction on our part. Either way, Wilson takes that hit, then he takes a second hit after a couple plays later. Looks like it may have been a shade late. No flag thrown there. He then leaves the game. No word yet on the injury. Robert Saleh didn't sound overly concerned, but listen, we've seen guys get up and walk off the field and have season-ending injuries. If you think back to the Geno Smith injury against the Ravens, he got up, walked back to the trainer's room, walked back to the locker room, and then it was announced he's done for the year. So, fingers crossed, let's not, may not be that bad with Zach Wilson. And, listen, I tweeted a little while ago, the Jets weren't going to come back and win this game. This game was over in the first 7 or 8 minutes when the Pats were up 14-0. But the bad part is Zach Wilson probably had put together 2 of his better drives that we've seen from him of late before the injury occurred. Then you go to Mike White. Mike White didn't look terrible for a guy who had never taken an NFL snap. Mid-round pick of the Cowboys a few years back. A guy that, honestly, I loved coming out of Western Kentucky. Someone tweeted at me during the game. You follow me on Twitter. If you listen to Jet Nation Radio, I've been a Mike White guy. The year he was coming out, I said the Jets should have made him a mid-round pick. But anyway, Mike White looked better running this offense than Zach Wilson did, if we're being honest. This doesn't mean there's going to be a QB controversy. The running game, non-existent. And at this point, you lost 54-13. Denzel Mims saw 1 target. Unless I'm counting wrong. I recall 1 target. LaMichael Pirine, who I'm not a huge fan of. Now, he wasn't listed as inactive. I'm assuming he was suited up. And you're using Ty Johnson as your power back. Why is he on the roster? Why is LaMichael Pirine on this roster? I said when they brought in LaFleur, the LaMichael Pirine of every single back on this roster, going back as far as camp when they had 7, 8 guys, however many backs they were carrying. LaMichael Pirine's physical profile was the least ideal for the offense the Jets were going to run. And now we see in season, short yard, whatever it's 2nd down, 3rd down, and short, and we're running Ty Johnson up the middle with LaMichael Pirine on the bench. Denzel Mims can't get a target. You tell me. I understand he's a guy you took just last year, Joe Douglas. But if your head coach has 0 use for him, why burn a roster spot? Why have him out there? Suited up on the sideline when he's a guy that the coach, the coordinator, he's invisible. He doesn't exist. He exists on paper. He's a roster, or he's a rostered player. So what's going to happen with Pirine moving forward? Who knows? The injuries, everybody got injured. Blake Cashman, shocking. Sherwood left the game for a little while, but he came back. Del'Shawn Phillips looked all right in his absence. Del'Shawn Phillips had a sack on an A-gap blitz where he looked explosive. He shot that gap. Mac Jones, I think it was going to be a play action. Phillips got there so quick he didn't have a chance. So Del'Shawn Phillips, one of the very, very few bright spots in this game. When you give up 54 points, how many bright spots are there going to be? And you only scored 13. Elijah Moore is one. Found the way to get the ball in his hands, in space, scores a touchdown. What do you know? What do you know? Turns out Elijah Moore might be good. Maybe there should be some type of, I don't know, plan to get him the ball more. To be fair, he was targeted a couple more times. Lost his footing. Slipped on a couple of what looked to be out routes. Was overthrown on another deep ball from Mike White. So White, couple of picks. The first pick, to me, Mike White, looked like Griffin had a shot at that. If he turns around, a shade earlier. By the time he turns around, puts his hands up, the ball went right through his hands. But it was a high ball. Maybe replay I'll if I watch it again. Jesus, the thought of watching this game again. But maybe it was more on White than I thought. But it looked to me like a ball that the tight end had a shot at. Didn't come down with it. Just an ugly game. 1 sack. Once again, no interceptions. Defense didn't make a play all day. Robert Saleh said after the game it was embarrassing. Heard some profanity from him, which you generally don't hear. And it was just all around an embarrassing football game. And now you have to reevaluate where you are with this team. No one thought they were going to the Super Bowl. I said, I'm not gonna hide from it. I said I thought this team could win 7, 8 games, 9 games, maybe push for a playoff spot. At that time, my expectation was that they would go heavy with the run and then let Zach Wilson manage games and pick his spots. And instead, almost on a weekly basis, they fall behind big early on, and even when the run is working, they abandon it. So completely different game plan than what I expected this year. I may have felt a little differently if you go into the season and know the coordinator is going to routinely bail on the run prematurely, even as you have a guy like Vera Tucker coming into his own. Of course, Becton's out when he's back. That'll change things in terms of the run game. But all that, listen, like I said, where do you start? Where do you begin? You could talk for days about this loss. What does it mean for the future? What does it mean for now? It means right now you're atrocious. That's the most points the Jets have given up in my time as a fan. 32, 33 years, however many years. Just a disaster up and down, like Robert Saleh said. Starts at the top, works all the way down. Nobody played well, really. I'm sure we'll pick up a couple guys on the All-22 who look better than you expected. But who cares? You lost 54-13. Absolutely embarrassing. This is coming off the bye. Bill Belichick, grinning on the sidelines. And really, I thought they were going to put up 60. The way they were throwing the ball deep, up 30, 40. They got the ball back with a couple minutes. I thought, they're gonna hang 60 on this deep. And they could have. They probably could have hung 70 if they wanted. They went conservative for a little while. So, just a disgusting game. Mike White finishes up 20 of 32, 200 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions. Zach Wilson, 6 out of 10 for 51. Like I said, he made a couple of decent plays. Made a really nice throw to Ryan Griffin. We saw a sort of backhand throw to Ty Johnson under pressure. Some of the stuff we saw from him in BYU, those special attributes. So he put a couple drives together where you're thinking, all right, again, they weren't going to win the game at that point. But let's make it competitive. Let's see the kid grow. Let's see him make some plays. And then he takes the hit. And that's that. So he ends up awaiting MRI. That's where the Jets are right now with Zach Wilson. MRI will determine the severity of the injury, how much time he's going to miss. And now this is where the not having the veteran backup could come back to hurt the Jets. I honestly, listen, there's a lot of different ways to approach the development of a young quarterback. One is to have that veteran in the room, which I said during the offseason, why not bring Josh McCown in? Which there are rumors the Jets are watching him. He's apparently coaching his kid's football team and doesn't want to sign with the team till that wraps up. But you went without a vet. But I think the thing that gets undersold here, the thing that people don't talk about, because it's sort of, as tragic as it was, people have moved on. But I think the Greg Knapp thing, passing away, that was Greg Knapp, that was going to be his role. He had a proven track record, a proven history of developing young quarterbacks. And the plan was bring in a young quarterback, bring in a guy who has proven he can do it, and that is his job, to develop this young quarterback. We're not going to worry about a vet in the room. We want one voice. Of course he's going to work with the OC and things like that, but you want the one guy whose job it is to develop the quarterback. And you brought in the guy who proved he could do it. Tragically killed in the offseason. Now he's gone, and there's no then not having that vet quarterback becomes a bigger deal. I get it. Josh Johnson's in the room, but he's not a guy who's got a million reps under his belt. He's got a lot of years. He can have some value, but you want that guy who's played a ton of games. And even, Mike White's been in the league longer. Today was his first NFL action, which to me is why it was a little bit more impressive than I think people will acknowledge. Mike White had never thrown an NFL pass before, with the exception of a few preseason games with the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, one questionable pick and one uglier pick later in the game. So it's gonna be a rough go here. Up next, the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're looking pretty damn good right now. You just give up 54 points to a 2-4 team, and we are at 32 years and counting, and I still don't think I've seen a Jets defense that can stop the screen. Pats ran it all day. Expect Joe Mixon, the Bengals, to run it all day next week until the Jets show they can slow it down or stop it. I mean, if I'm playing the Jets, I just run screens all day. You probably 54 points a week probably be the average. So this team's got to get better. They got to get healthy. And we just wait now and hear what's going on with Zach Wilson, if and when he'll be back this season. And you better believe the Jets, they better be, even if Wilson is okay, this better be a little wake-up call to maybe see about getting a vet quarterback from somewhere. Even if there's, again, get Josh McCown on the phone. See how soon you can get him in here as that mentor to the young QB. So, until next week, that was an ugly one. Check us out on JetNation Radio. Myself, Alex Varallo, Dylan Terraman this Tuesday night. Should be a fun one, right? That'll do it for us now. JetNation.com. Log in, join the forums, and rage. Let your voice be heard, Jets fans. Take care.